this whole issue of the military also, I just want to flag here is Sri Lanka has seen decades where the military has become stronger. During the war, they had a particular role. Post-war, and Sri Lanka has been in the post-war setting since 2009, the military has expanded their role to civilian function, and this is a very, very worrying aspect as well. Now, with the pandemic, and this is in 2020, 2021, and ongoing, the military in Sri Lanka is playing a role in terms of addressing the pandemic with vaccine rollout, the surveillance, quarantine centers earlier. So the military carved out a particular role during the pandemic, and I would say legitimized their role in a post-war setting. Now what we see is the military being called out to man fuel stations or to provide security, but the worry is what else would it lead to? This is in a context where former military officials, as well as serving military officials, are playing critical roles in governance and government. So that dimension also needs to be kept in mind when we talk about um, the role and responsibility of government, the role and responsibility of the opposition. There is a very powerful actor in terms of military also that needs to be factored in. We are in crisis mode. We are seeing chaos in terms of governance and government. We're seeing an increasing role with the military. And Sri Lanka's history in terms of the calling out of the troops, bringing in emergency, raises questions as to what is the government going to do when the crisis is likely to increase. I mean, we're talking about more than half a day of power cuts. Every day there's a protest. People are getting to the streets. So to manage all of this, what is likely to be the government response? And I have a very sinking feeling there might be brute force use, there might be violence use, and these security laws provide certain powers. But and maybe one possible positive note is we still have functioning institutions. We have a critical role for the parliament. And I think it's very important that we look to these democratic processes, democratic institutions, despite the chaos, despite the uncertainties, because we really do not want to go back to cycles of violence we've seen in Sri Lanka before. We have gone through so much. And it's very important to keep in mind that Sri Lanka is a democracy, a functioning democracy.